Welcome back to Some Offense Intended. I'm Jeremy Robinson.
I am Mike Mick.
I forgot to check if the microphones were recording, but it is.
It is. Yeah, I was going to check that too.
That's a good thing.
I was going to talk and look at it, but
it's weird that I have to check that every week, but because we record on Riverside, and every now and then my computer will update and it'll auto mute the inputs for some reason, so I have to constantly check that.
Yeah. And we don't like to have to restart an episode.
Because at least now we know, like when we first started doing the video stuff, it was pretty common that it would record. We'd do the whole thing. How many? We did probably 3 or 4 that we had to redo.
Yeah. And the thing was, a couple of them, it felt like the original was better than the redo.
It was way funny. For sure, it was way funny.
Way funny.
Way better.
And we can't recapture it because it's not scripted in any way.
Yeah, and it was weird too because like if you looked at the files, the Riverside saves,
mm-hmm.
it had like the blips, like it was actually recording something.
Yeah.
But there was no data. There was nothing at all. So I'm glad we got a lot of stuff ironed out, and I'm really happy about that.
Me too.
I just emailed the lady back to get the coupon codes for the video editing.
Yeah.
So that should be tomorrow.
Cool. We're at episode 75.
Yes, this is 75.
That's a milestone right there.
Yes. It's a mild milestone.
Yeah.
Like 52 because it was a year. And then I feel like 100. And then after that, I don't even know if the years, like the second year, third year, will be much of a milestone.
It's at 3/4 of 100. So.
I mean, yeah, looking at it like that, that's
like people celebrate like 75th anniversaries, 50th anniversaries. Most people don't, but companies do.
Yeah, but that's also like a 75-year mark, and that is a fucking milestone. If this was the 75th year we've been doing this, 1, we'd be a lot older.
Yeah.
And 2, that would absolutely be a milestone.
But there's the Fountain of Youth. So this is year 75. We started this before there was actually podcasts.
Yeah, well, okay. And another
shot.
Another drink of Centenario. Cheers. I'm drinking it with mineral water. The Peter is I can't think of that word. Insistent that I tried this mineral water. It's called Topo Chico.
I was gonna say, you don't want to end the sentence on you're drinking this water from Peter.
No. Peter said I had to try it with this mineral water because I was drinking it with like whatever. I think it was like CL is what it was called. CIEL. It's a Coca-Cola brand in Mexico. And he's like, no, you have to try it with this one. Like it tastes like mineral water. So, especially with the tequila in it, it just tastes like tequila and mineral water. So,
yeah. As long as you get the tequila taste.
Yeah, and that's I didn't know mixing it with mineral water, like you get the whole flavor of the alcohol, like whether it's whiskey, scotch, whatever, or tequila with mineral water, you get the whole flavor of it.
Nice.
But you're also hydrating at the same time. Perfect. More than just ice cubes. So it's a bonus. You want another one?
No, I'm good. But I don't put ice cubes with tequila.
You want to try it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
But like maybe with scotch, maybe a couple ice cubes.
But
not too much.
Well, I would normally agree, but after this trip of like drinking heavier, like almost as heavy as I used to, and I woke up after like 4 or 5 hours of sleep and felt fucking amazing.
Well, maybe we need to get
because you're hydrating at the same time.
Maybe we need to get some scotch and some mineral water and see how it goes.
I mean, we can.
I haven't had scotch in a while.
I mean, I've got a couch you can sleep on.
I do like scotch.
We can plan that for another time.
But so I went to play video games last night, and I thought, all right, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to play something other than my Nintendo. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to play Last of Us on my PlayStation 5. Turn on my PlayStation.
Update.
Sony. First, it's update. It wants to update the controller.
Oh, that's the new gen consoles.
And I'm like, eat a dick, skip for 24 hours.
And then you had to update the PS5 itself.
Then I had to update. No, first I had to update the game,
Oh, okay.
and then after I update the game, it's like, oh, by the way, you need to update the system.
Oh, okay. See, normally that's how it with the PS4. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Was rarely was the controller, but you turn it on, and like I want to play. You have to update the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then you have to update the updating, and then you try to open the game. You have to update the opener, and then you have to update the game.
So I was like, fine. So I'm getting the thing updating. I get the game updated. I get the system updated. Everything's going. And I'm like, screw it. I'm going to switch over. I left it running. I went over to the different HDMI. And I decided, all right, I'm going to play Xbox instead.
Update.
Update system. Update game. So then I'm like, so at the end of it all, when everything's updating, I ended up playing Nintendo after all.
There you go. But now everything's updated so that when you want to play it again.
I updated both of my controllers today, too.
So now when you want to play it again.
Yeah, everything's updated.
For a week.
Or until tonight when I turn it on again. I hate it. It seems like it happens all the time.
I just played Fortnite last night with my nephew again, and they brought back almost the original map. Like it's very, very close to the original map. So they call it the OG map. So like they brought back all the old weapons, I can't wait to play it again.
Speaking of Fortnite, I've told you about this before, and it was hysterical. Somebody at work had shown me this video. This kid was playing, and he's up on a tall scaffolding type thing that they built in the game.
Yeah.
And he fell off, and this kid's just so upset that he fell off. And the other guy went over, picked him up, and threw him into a fire. And you hear this kid just put me down and just crying. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, so that the original game was building, and now they have zero build battle royale. So that's what I play because, like, you can get used to building, and I got used to it a little bit on the controller. You can, now that I'm on mouse and keyboard, you can get really good at it, but it's just an extra dynamic of, I often forget that you can build, so I would rather play zero build so that it's more actual, like, shooter skill based than how many fucking walls can I build between you and me, or how high can I get.
So now, in that case, I'd probably want it to be zero build.
Yeah.
But as you know, I'm fond of the game Zelda.
Yeah.
And I like to build things, and I like to go into, like, I built essentially a tank and was driving through, and all these monsters, it's just shooting rockets at all these monsters in all these different directions, and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, like, I appreciate the building of the game. Like, the Save the World, which is the story mode of Fortnite.
Yeah.
It came out originally first. I think it might have been the same time, but Save the World was a $5 or $10 add-on, and then you can, like, build up everything, have a story mode, learn how to play the game, learn how to do everything else, and have this fun, like, zombie ongoings. And then they slowly progressed the story, and I think they finally finished it at some point in the past. So,
well, in Zelda, I took these wheels. I put one on the left, one on the right, and I put the steer thing in the middle. So you're literally standing there with the wheels on either side of you.
just a Segway.
Basically, but motorized Segway. And then I put a rocket launcher on each wheel. And I put a stabilizer on the back, so when I'm driving this thing, it doesn't just, go forward or back and fall over. And I'm just driving around just shooting the shit out of everything. It's great because the things themselves, they shoot on their own.
Oh, okay.
So as I'm driving, if there's monsters and it detects them, it starts shooting at them. Now here's where the problem comes. If you get too close to the monster, it's still going to shoot.
Yeah.
And you're going to go
still has
flying.
splash damage.
Yeah. But it was really cool to do. I posted on Facebook, I don't know if you saw it, but last week I was playing Zelda, and I got my character to ride a bear. Link rode a bear. I was walking along, and all this shit was going on, and next thing I know, there's a bear right next to me. So I'm like, shit, I can jump on it. I jump on it, and I end up taming it. I end up riding it for quite a while. Thing freaks out after a while. You have to keep trying to tame it every once in a while. Eventually, he got away, and he tried to turn on me, so I had to make some bear steaks.
Nice.
But yeah, it was. I put a picture of Link on. I took a selfie.
I might have seen it. I don't remember.
I even put the caption: Link rides a bear.
How'd you come up with that?
I had to go to an AI and have it.
Had to dig deep.
Had to get an AI to name that one for me.
That's I still keep forgetting to play that Star Wars game
It is cool.
because I've been doing a little bit more. Like I've been focusing a lot on like reading and business and
Yeah, I've seen you with your
a lot of different
nose
shit.
in a book
Yeah,
a lot lately.
I'm learning a lot. It actually feels good to read again.
I took a break from listening to some books. I was listening to some podcasts because last week was Halloween.
Yeah.
And I found a podcast, Scared to Death. They have some stories about, like, one's about the elevator game. I don't know if you're familiar with the elevator game.
The elevator game.
Yeah, you're supposed to go into a building, 10 floors or more, and there's these rules you have to follow. Like, you're not supposed to bring a phone with you. None of that. You have to follow the sequence of floors you go to. Like on the 5th floor, some woman's supposed to walk on the elevator with you. You're supposed to completely ignore her, no matter what she says to you. Like she's going to cry, she's going to do all these things to try to distract you, to get you to look at her or talk to her. And then if you make it through all that, at the end of it, you're supposed to hit the 1st floor, and the elevator's going to go to the 10th floor instead of the 1st. Then you end up in a different realm, allegedly. But they had a whole story on there about somebody doing that. And
I'm so confused. So you have to go, like, say the 5th floor. So you have to go to a random building.
yeah, preferably at night because you can't be interrupted. And you have to be on the 1st floor. There has to be at least 10 floors.
So you have to go in.
And then there's a sequence of floors you go to. Like you go 1.
And you have to go to the 5th floor and find a lady.
No.
But don't talk to her.
No, you don't find her. She finds you. That's all part of the whole thing. But like you go from the 1st floor to like the 4th floor. Then you hit the 2nd floor.
And this is to get
And then
to
the
like the
6th
back
floor.
rooms of the Matrix or some shit.
Yeah. Then the 6th floor. And then the 5th floor. And then you go all of a sudden. And then
I have concerns and questions.
but then you hit after she gets on the thing and you successfully do not talk to her. It goes up.
So she gets off at the 1st floor.
She just gets off. I don't know on the next floor, and then you go and you hit 1, and instead of going down to 1, your elevator is going to go up to 10.
And they think this happens.
And then you get out, and it's like you're walking, and everything's slightly off.
And that people think this happens.
Yeah, people think this happens. Some guy told the whole story of his experience doing it. That was what the podcast was, that particular episode. And the episode I listened to on the way here today was about the Bell Witch in Tennessee.
I'm so intrigued in a weird way about this elevator game.
I don't know all the rules right off the top of my head. I've heard about it a couple times, so I couldn't really tell you. But yeah, you want to go to a place that's not like a building that's not overly busy, and at a time when the elevator, because every time you get interrupted, you have to start over.
Oh, so it could take like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then security's going to come escort you out because why the fuck? Why are you walking out of the elevator, letting the door shut, and then hitting the button to get in again? Like, I'm restarting the level, bro.
I have not done the game. My building has 10 floors, but I haven't done it.
Is your building overly busy?
Sometimes, yeah.
Is there a woman on floor 5?
There's a few women on floor 5, but there's supposed to be like some demon woman who's trying to get you stuck in that other realm, apparently.
Well, you haven't even gotten to the other realm yet.
Well, she's supposed to guide you there or trick you. I don't know.
I'm even more confused now.
Well, look it up sometime, and you'll be like, "Wow."
I might have to. I don't have any notes. So, do you have notes? You go over a note. I'm gonna find the rules of this elevator game.
Well, I did want to mention I did go to Cracker Barrel yesterday.
Oh yeah, so Cracker Barrel in Reno opened, and I was talking to Mike. I thought it was funny as shit. The article said, "The Cracker Barrel in Reno finally opened, and here's what the interior looks like." And my thoughts were, it probably looks like literally every other fucking Cracker Barrel.
Oh, I'm sure it does, yeah. But of course, it's in Reno, so nobody's ever seen it.
Yeah, and that's Fernley or Fallon got a Cracker Barrel before we did.
Bastards. But I went there, and yeah, Fernley got a Texas Roadhouse before Sparks did. Sparks still doesn't have one.
Yeah.
But I go in there, and I get there a little bit early, so doing things in my car to kill time before I have to go inside. And more people are showing up.
There's actually a movie that just came out called
Yeah, I
The
heard there was
Elevator
going to be
Game.
one coming out. Yeah.
It says it's a supernatural horror based on the, I don't know how to pronounce this fucking word, eponymous, EPONYMOUS, eponymous.
Okay.
Online phenomenon, a ritual conducted in an elevator in which players attempt to travel to, and I don't feel like clicking on it. Okay, here we go. So, sorry, were you still...
I'm saying, but no, when I got inside, there was a line. Like, I got there as it opened. There was a line to get in. And they're still ironing out the wrinkles because they were not... Like, I saw the manager, but he didn't once walk out on the floor. Like, I saw him come out of the kitchen, stand in like a little hallway thingy, look around a little bit, and then back
just
in
massively
the kitchen.
frazzled.
Just right back in the kitchen. I'm like,
damn.
You probably want to check on your guests.
Yeah. So
I'm in there, and it took me a while to even, like, these people kept looking at me, and she's like, yeah, something weird happened with the seating or something. I can't remember how she worded it. And I'm like, because I'd been sitting there for a while waiting.
Yeah.
So I finally get my drink order. People next to me have already gotten their drink order and their food ordered. Then I order my food and drink, and my food actually came out before the table to the right of me that had all their drink order and their food order ordered before me.
Huh.
Which is, the food was good. I mean, I understand it. I've opened restaurants. I get that some of these people are not prepared for what has happened to them, and they got busy real quick. Their general store that they have when you walk in, really busy.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one of those busy.
Well, it was mostly, a lot of it was people waiting in line to get into the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
But there was people there. There was a line to check out, to buy things. Like, I wanted to buy a dark chocolate candy bar. I wasn't going to fucking wait for that shit, so I left. But before I left, I ordered, I had my breakfast, and I ordered a take-home meal for $6. First, I wanted to get the fried chicken with mac and cheese. They didn't have that. So she comes back, she goes, well, I can get you meatloaf with mac and cheese, or I can get you grilled chicken with mashed potatoes.
Well, that's not...
I went with grilled chicken with mashed potatoes.
Why don't you get grilled chicken with mac and cheese?
Because they didn't have that offered. They're already prepackaged.
Oh, okay.
So that was all right. But I also ordered a dessert to take home, too, to have later. And they had a lot of desserts I like. I like pumpkin pie. I like pecan pie. I've never had chocolate pecan, but I'm sure I would have liked it. But all these things they had.
They didn't have any of them?
No, they had them. But there was one on the menu I've never had. It was a cinnamon roll pie. So basically a cinnamon roll on a crust. But I wanted...
That was the only difference? Just cinnamon roll on a crust?
Basically. But I ordered that, and then she brings out my meal to go and my other food. It's all sitting there, and I happen to look inside the bag, and on the top is my pie. Not cinnamon roll pie. Pecan pie. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking around, I'm trying to get somebody to come over to help me. People keep looking at me. They know that I've got that I need help look on my face.
Yeah.
Nope. Nobody. Eventually somebody, she's sitting over there with the tablet. Finally, she comes over to talk to me. She was short. When I say she was short, I was sitting down at the table, and I was...
Oh, okay. Like not short, not curt with you.
No.
Short in stature.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just surprised me because I'm turning and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, I am literally looking straight in your eyes right now, and I am sitting down. I am about the same height as you, and I am sitting down. And she's like, so what seems to be the problem? I'm like, well, I ordered cinnamon roll pie, and pulled it back, set it down, and went, this looks like pecan.
Yeah.
I was hoping they're going to be like, because you're not supposed to take it back into the kitchen once it's hit the table.
Yeah.
I was hoping they were just going to be like...
She took it back?
Yeah. I was hoping she was going to be like, yeah, just keep this one, I'll bring you out the right one. Because I'm like, I like pecan pie, but that's not what I ordered.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have eaten both. I would have had no problem with that.
I think it's been probably 10 years since I've had pecan pie.
Yeah. Well, you're due.
Because that's, like, growing up in, like, I never really I liked pecans.
Yeah.
But I had a long time where, like, the only pie that I liked was either, like, the triple chocolate, like the chocolate mousse pie or whatever the fuck it's called.
Chocolate cream pie.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of them.
Banana cream pie I like a lot.
Me too.
Or pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
So I've only recently had sweet potato pie that I actually liked that Mac made.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I knew it was sweet potato pie. So, like, as you know, the color is very similar.
Very similar to pumpkin.
And adults, when you're a kid at a fucking family reunion, at a Thanksgiving, like, massive family thing, they don't tell you anything. And there's just 6 pies that all look the fucking same. And you just think they're all pumpkin. And if you're expecting a delicious fucking pumpkin pie,
oh, I know,
when there's whipped cream on it, and you get fucking potatoes, it is not okay.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I understand.
I've appreciated sweet potato pie for the first time, like this year, last year.
Yeah.
And I think it was roughly because of all of that, or like because of just how tastes change. I didn't like pecan pie when I lived in Georgia either.
Yeah.
But pecans were plentiful. Like, you'd pull over the car to the side of the road, pull out a fucking Walmart bag, and just go gather pecans that are on the ground for free because nobody cared. And then you can go make pecan fucking everything because you just got 18 pounds of pecans for free.
Pecan syrup. I'll take some of that. But now when I was a kid, I didn't much care for pecan pie. My mom loved it. She'd always want to have it, and I'd always pass, which is odd for me to pass on dessert.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would pass on
Like,
it. Now I like it.
There's a couple of things growing up that I didn't like that I'm curious now if I would. Of like green bean casserole. I used to not like green beans. I've had fresh green beans, like when I was doing the HelloFresh meals. Holy shit, are those good. Like baked, salt and pepper, that's all you put on them, and just bake them.
See, I like green beans.
Are fucking amazing. But canned green beans are...
I'll even eat those, but...
are pretty fucking terrible.
I've always eaten green beans, but canned, fresh, but I don't want them in a casserole.
My favorite part about green bean casserole was the French fried onions on top. So I would eat those and not the rest. But the other thing was like pork Dutch chowder, and my older sister could never really get the name right, so we always made fun of her and called it porch duck powder.
That actually sounds better than the chowder.
Basically like split pea soup with extra. And there's this color and a smell that comes to mind, and I don't appreciate it. But I would like to try it now that I'm older.
I want to
see if I appreciate it.
There's split pea soup. Is there whole pea soup?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't know.
It takes longer to make, because if the split pea, you cut it in half.
Cut the cook time in half?
Exactly.
So another food, I like the basic concept of it. Chili.
Yep.
But all the time I've ever had chili, it's always been with beans.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this up.
And I've been told that traditional Texas chili doesn't have beans. And if there's no beans in it, I'm on fucking board. Sign me up. I fucking hate those beans.
So I don't know why this became a thing in my family, but we had, I think it was called the Living Nativity. It was a thing we used to do at one of the churches we went to, of like, you drive through and there's different scenes portrayed of like the whole nativity, everything. Mm-hmm. And because it was such a church-wide thing, it would almost be a potluck every night. And it's a Baptist thing, so there's always food.
All right.
So my dad was going to get a bowl of chili, and somebody was like, that's not chili. Like, it doesn't have beans. And my dad goes, and this is why it became a thing in our family, of just like how he responded. They'd be like, what do you call chili without beans? And I said, chili. Like, just how it went. And it's just, that's stuck ever since then. Of like chili with or without beans. And like, that was like supposed to be a dad joke, I think.
Yeah.
But not really. But yeah, like,
I don't like the taste of the beans. I don't like the texture of the beans. There's no part of those beans that I want.
Because most of the time, chili with beans, the beans aren't cooked all the way. And it's too, like, that weird, tough skin texture.
See, my dad would make chili, and his beans would be cooked all the way. He would take his chili that he would make for his customers at his bar, would cook for a week.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He put a lot into this. It was a slow cook.
Fucking week?
Well, maybe it wasn't a full week, but it was a long
I
time.
was gonna say I don't like waiting 5 minutes for food.
Oh, but he wasn't making it for himself. He was making it to take to. I think they had it on Monday Night Football, so it would cook for a long time. There'd be a lot of meat in it, but then those beans, I would have to pick around the beans.
That's a long fucking time.
Yeah, I know. But that's slow cooking.
Okay. Got the elevator game pulled up.
All right.
So I'm going to skip over a little bit of this, but it's urban legend or portal to another world. The elevator game purports to blur the lines of reality for players if they follow the rules and don't make a potentially fatal mistake. One disturbing case has caught the attention of believers and skeptics. The last known video of Eliza Somebody alive showed her in an elevator in the Cecil Hotel.
The Cecil Hotel in California. Yeah, I know about that.
So it says days later, her body was found in the hotel's water tank. To this day, nobody knows how she died or how her body got there. That's the part I was going to skip over, but since you said you heard about it, I might as well.
Yeah.
The video is strange to say the least, unsettling if you watch it a few times. No one could make sense of what exactly happened until conspiracy theorists and paranormal fanatics zeroed in on one dubious explanation, an urban legend called the elevator game. What is it? The elevator game, or the elevator to another world, is not for the faint of heart. Originating in Korea and Japan. Okay, now it gets even more interesting because they have a lot of like weird myth and lore that's just fucking absurd. It's essentially a step-by-step ritual that is believed by some to blur the lines of reality. All of the exact dates of its origin are unknown. The game probably hasn't been around for very long, and some posts regarding game outcomes date back only to 2011. Not surprisingly, the popularity of the elevator game has been powerfully influenced by online accounts of it, and as too often happens, it has become even more widely known as the alleged cause of a tragedy, the death of Eliza Lamb. We'll explore the case of Eliza later, but let's first take a look at the rules of the game. There are many steps to playing and surviving the elevator game, and as we've been warned, it's imperative that you follow them precisely and in the exact order. In this game, you will need at least one player and an elevator in a building with a minimum of 10 floors. Here's how to play. Step 1. Let's say you're the player. You enter an elevator, alone or with another player. No outsider can enter the elevator with you, nor can you leave at any point. If you do exit the elevator, you must start over. Step 2. You ride the elevator from floor to floor in a specific sequence, up to the 4th, down to the 2nd, up to the 6th, down to the 2nd, up to the 10th, then down to the 5th. Remember not to get off on any floors. When you get to the 5th floor, this is weird that I picked 5th, by the way. Did you say 5th?
Mm-hmm. And so the 5th floor is when the person gets on the elevator.
Okay. When you get to the 5th, if you encounter a mysterious woman, if you encounter, so it's not guaranteed to happen, do not look at her and do not answer or interact with her in any way. The consequences of engaging with her are said to include the possibility of never returning to the real world. Now push the button to descend from the 5th to the 1st floor. Here's where they say things could get crazy. If the elevator operates normally and takes you to the 1st floor, exit immediately and do not look back or talk to anyone. But if instead of taking you from the 5th to the 1st, the elevator begins to go up, well, congratulations, you're being allowed into another world. Or so they say. Alternatively, you might resist the urge to freak out and instead simply press the emergency button and wait for the fire department to arrive to help. So, I have a couple questions. So, at the beginning, it says, no outsider can enter the elevator with you, nor can you leave at any point. If you do exit the elevator, you must start over. It doesn't say what you must do if an outsider comes in.
See, I've heard.
Do you also have to start over?
I've heard in the past it's been start over.
But you also can't leave the exit. You can't exit the elevator.
Yeah.
So if you do get to this other world and you exit the elevator, what happens?
Well, they say you can exit the elevator, but you have to make sure that you have to get back to the original elevator you did. You don't want to get lost in there, and you have to follow the steps again in reverse. That's what I've heard. I've heard a couple different things. Like I also heard one where it says the person who gets on the elevator with you on the 5th floor, and then she rides you up to the 10th. She goes up to the 10th with you. It's like she's your guide there. But but most of them I've heard, she gets on the elevator, and you're not supposed to interact with her. Then eventually she gets off. And she'll do all sorts of things to get your attention.
So it says, so now you know how to punch your ticket to this portal to another world. Elevator game believers say all sorts of things might happen at this point. Things might look different. It might be dark and spooky. The power might be out. No one else might be around. Some players have even claimed they looked out the window and saw only a red cross in the distance. You might even lose consciousness, they say. If
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
what I was telling you with the red cross. I see that in the distance when they get up to 10th.
if you're like me, probably you'd want most, and that is how to get home, blah, blah, blah. Elevator game aficionados have an answer for how to return. So here's steps to return safely from the other world. The way home has several steps, all of which players say you must follow exactly, lest you get stuck in that other world. To get back to our world, step 1, the rules say you must get on the same elevator you rode before, like Mike said. Finding it might be a problem, but intrepid believers advise that you keep searching until you find it. Once you enter the elevator again, move from floor to floor in the exact same sequence you did, just like Mike said, 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5. Upon reaching the 5th floor, press the button to the 1st floor. If the elevator starts ascending again, quickly press the button for any other floor before you reach the 10th. Or, as I've suggested before, simply press the emergency button, have a seat, and wait for help to arrive. I hope you don't suffer from claustrophobia. So now we're back safe home. Maybe it's time to consider the notorious case of a young woman who some believe was blah, blah, blah. Cecil Hotel.
Now, that Cecil Hotel in California has a long history and a history of being allegedly haunted. 2 different serial killers lived in that hotel at one time. One of them being Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I don't remember the name of the other one, but he started being a serial killer in Europe. Then he came to the U.S. He took his game on the road. And he stayed at that place as a tribute to the Night Stalker when he stayed there.
Huh.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stories about that particular place, like people jumping off.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. It's in LA. Apparently, it's reasonable to stay there, too.
Huh.
Yeah, I want to go there.
You want me to read about Eliza and her story?
That's up to you. I know the story. I've heard it from three different things.
Okay, well, I've never heard it.
But they found her in the water tank with her clothes next to her.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Also, hearing water tank is weird.
It's on top of the building, where the building gets its water, uses gravity to.
Well, that's how it goes in Mexico too. Like all the buildings have, but that's not a normal fucking thing.
But it's an old building.
Okay.
Very old. Like it was there during the Depression.
Okay, so it says Eliza was staying at the Cecil Hotel in L.A., but her parents became concerned when they didn't hear from her on the day she was supposed to check out. They notified the authorities, and an investigation ensued. Police couldn't find any trace of Eliza except for an eerie video of her behaving erratically in the hotel's elevator.
Let me interrupt for a second. I heard that the reason people eventually found her is because residents of the hotel were actually complaining because the water tasted funny.
I would believe that 100%.
Yeah.
It says, in the video, Lamb is seen stepping into and out of the elevator several times, seemingly talking to someone who wasn't there, frantically pushing many of the elevator buttons, making gestures with her hands, and looking around in a paranoid fashion. Through all of this, the elevator stayed in place and its doors never closed. After Eliza's body was discovered, naked and dead, in a water tank on the hotel's roof, theories abounded. Was she experiencing some kind of psychotic episode? Was there somebody nearby not captured by a security camera? Was she playing the elevator game? The autopsy was inconclusive in determining a manner of death. The coroner's office found she probably drowned by accident. The police went a little further and highlighted the fact that Eliza suffered from bipolar disorder, believed she was a classic case of a mental breakdown leading to a tragic end. Blah, blah, blah. Not surprisingly, of course, elevator game believers weren't going to buy such a rational, if incomplete, explanation. Not surprisingly, elevator game believers were convinced that Eliza was playing the game. She must have broken the critical rule not to interact with a woman in step 3. Worse, she might have been transported to another world at that point and have been prevented from returning alive to her normal world. As for hard evidence, the believers don't have any more than the LAPD, so what are we to think? Maybe someone will find something on her computer that shows she was into the elevator game. Maybe an investigator will find out how her body got into the water tank. Blah, blah, blah. What I need to get from the street to the upper floor of a building, I've got no problem taking the elevator except maybe on Halloween. What does that have to do with it? It didn't say it had to be a certain fucking day.
I'd take the elevator on Halloween.
Yeah.
I live in a building with an elevator. I'm not going to not go. I'm not going to take the stairs because it's
Yeah.
the end of
So
October.
I'm actually really. You want to do that at some point? It says you can do it with 2 players.
I don't know that I want to do the elevator game. You can. Tell me all about it.
I'm even more intrigued that you don't want to.
I'll go ghost hunting and all that, but I don't know. That one, you had to hear the story. I heard.
Find it and send it to me.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's the podcast, which, like I said, I really like the Scared to Death podcast. It's good.
I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah, that.
I'm intrigued, and I want to let's do that. Let's try it.
All right. I'll have to get well, if it'll let you record. The first time I heard about it, it specifically said no cell phone on you.
Huh. Well, what about like a GoPro's not a cell phone?
What about what?
A GoPro's not a cell phone.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. I don't think it was. I think it said no recording devices or cell phones, but I just specifically remember cell phones.
We'll see. I want to get. I've stopped smoking, by the way. That's everybody fucking. If you're watching YouTube, I'm vaping. I've wanted to get an EMF, an electronic, the electromagnet, the fucking frequency reader thing.
Oh yeah.
To see, like, just the different frequencies that different things give off.
Yeah.
Because there's also been like times in the past of like when I'm very like extremely fucking pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Electronics don't work very well around me at all.
Yeah.
And like the house that I was at in Vegas, like the Wi-Fi, I had a $600 router. The Wi-Fi would stop. Like there would be no Wi-Fi signal in the fucking house. At a certain point, because I got out of there because the guy who owned the house and me, we were best friends in high school, and then we went different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end, like it was just a frustrating existence.
I remember we talked about
together
this.
kind of thing.
You would not want to be there at the same time.
So like, if he was at the house and I wasn't, the internet was fine. If I was at the house and he wasn't, the internet was fine. But anytime like it was kind of there, both of us together, it was this weird, like I'd have this, I fucking want to leave, and I'm not happy about being here, like a perturbed feeling,
mm-hmm.
and the internet would often shit itself, often.
Damn.
Like, and then I could hear the garage from sitting in the living room watching TV. I could hear the garage open, like, oh, okay, he's home. And then from that, the internet would start shitting itself too. So, like, I know different frequencies can cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Like, this can happen. Like, I want to know, like, what frequencies I give off at different mood levels, as well as, like, hey, is there something here kind of stuff.
See, I thought about getting one of those when we had talked about going to Virginia City. I thought about getting one of those for going to the Washoe Club, because they're supposed to be able to pick up if there's any paranormal activity going on around you.
Yeah.
And I also thought about getting one of those spirit boxes. You're supposed to be able to pick up like voices.
Spirit box.
Yeah, it's like it's supposed to be able to pick up voices from the beyond. But then when I did more research into those boxes, what they do is they jump from frequency to frequency, from like, I think it's like on AM.
Oh, okay.
So it'll go from one station to another, to another, to another. But if it's doing this, you're going to hear a voice on there.
Yeah.
But that could just be it picking up a radio. I mean, even if you say to something, "Are you here?" and then it goes and you hear the word yes, that could be some guy on a radio station saying yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't get that. But
so what it hasn't like massively snowed in Virginia City yet.
No.
So
we should go.
when am I getting those parts? Because I've been working on the truck. Tomorrow I have a couple things to do. What about Wednesday?
Wednesday's good.
Is there a store we can get an EMF?
Well, actually, they have devices. You can, if you go on the tour, you can get the device for $5 and walk around with it.
I'm gonna fucking keep it.
No,
I'm gonna keep it for $5 fucking. Bet.
Yeah, but yeah, that's.
Did I tell you about when I went to Sedona, Arizona? Have I told you that story? So, in high school, in 12th grade, me, Wade, the best friend from high school, and our 2 girlfriends, both Filipinas, wanted to go on a vacation. So, and they were both like, let's go to Sedona. Like, okay, cool. So my dad was like, make sure you check out Slide Rock, which is a pretty cool like water river thing. Like there's a couple of different like water slides that are built into the rock, like just carved out from the water.
Nice.
And a couple other things. And then there's like the whole, I think there was 3 different hikes we did. And then there's like a big like supernatural thing about Sedona.
Yeah.
So one of the days after we finished doing whatever, and on one of the hikes at the very end, you're on like this fucking massive plateau. And I had Verizon at the time. And I didn't have service at my fucking house. But on top of this plateau, in the middle of fucking nowhere, Arizona, I had full fucking signal. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like, yeah. I called somebody from college just to make sure that the signal was real. Mm-hmm. And they answered, and they're like, why are you calling me? I'm like, I'm just middle of nowhere, Arizona, like after a hike on a mountain.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. And figured I would check because I don't have signal in my house, but I can have signal here. Yeah. Thanks, Verizon. So one of the times we were like, okay, let's go to this plaza. They wanted to go get like their tarot cards read or like their aura read or whatever. I'm like, all right, that's fine, cool. And so a little bit of backstory before this is I get feelings about different things that are like, this is probably going to go bad, or like something's fucking wrong. I have to figure out like who is affected. And it's my mom's side of the family. Like my mom's had those feelings forever. Like me, my older brother, older sister, always have gotten these feelings of like something's fucked up. Mm-hmm. Call everybody to figure out who it is. So we go to this plaza. It's like a 2 or 3 story, like semi-modern wraparound. And so we're walking on the walkway on the 2nd floor, and we go into the fucking, I don't know, fortune teller area. Mm-hmm. So I open the door, everybody walks in. I walk in, and it's instantly this like, it feels like there's a dump truck on my chest. I can't fucking breathe at all. I'm just like, like this is uncomfortable. And I turn and look at the lady that's behind the counter, and she's looking over, and she's like, oh my God, you have an amazing or a really interesting aura. I'm like, this is mine. And I turn around and I walk out. As soon as I walk out of the fucking store, I can breathe again. Like,
I probably wouldn't want to go back in there.
I'm like, that was fucking weird. So I like, with the door still open, I'm like, hey, I'm going to sit on this fucking bench right here. You guys can do whatever you want. I'm not fucking going in there. I'm like, it feels wrong. I'm like, I don't know what it was about it, but it was like the darkest feeling I've ever felt in my life was that fucking place.
Was the dark side of the force?
Like, maybe. Like, I don't know that it's all, because I've had my tarot read. I've had fucking a couple different things
I've
done.
never had any of those things done.
But like, I've never felt that much darkness as I have that fucking day. Yeah. I've had really bad feelings that have overpowered that, but not that much focused of I can't breathe.
See, I've had bad feelings where I'm like, if I do this, this will probably happen, and I probably shouldn't. But most of the time, I ignored my
your instincts.
My instincts, and the bad things did happen. So I've gotten to the point where I trust my instincts, like right away.
So the feelings leading up to this is, so like I used to skateboard with a couple guys, and we were ne'er-do-goods. Like we just fucked around a lot.
Yeah.
And the statute of limitations has passed. We stole a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And several times we wanted to, like, let's go do a beer run, which is like you go steal beer and run.
Oh, yeah.
And I was the only one that drove. So there was one of the times, this is the easiest one to explain, is one of the times we went to a gas station, and one of the kids, he was in the back seat, he went inside and he was going to go steal 2 36 packs. And about 20 seconds after he left the car, I couldn't breathe. Like a very shortness of breath, like something's wrong. I'm like, hey, go get him. my buddy in the shotgun in the passenger seat. I'm like, hey, go get him. Buy a Gatorade, Slim Jim, buy something. Don't take anything, and just come back in the car, and we have to leave. He goes, why? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Just fucking do it right now. Leave. Tell him not to do it. Buy a Gatorade. That's it. When they got halfway between the door and the car after buying the Gatorade, 6 cop cars pulled into the gas station for shift change.
Damn.
So, like, ever since that day, they always trusted my feelings. And then, like, a bunch of weird, like, we'd skateboard in the park, and parks close in Nevada.
Yeah.
So, like, we've gotten kicked out of parks by cops often, but, like, so after a certain point, the feelings developed into, like, we have to leave. Like, we have to go this way. Like, why not that? Like, I don't know. Just, we have to go this way. Like, we'd be almost all the way to the other side of the neighborhood and look over, and you can see a cop car with a spotlight, like, pointing, looking around the park. I'm like, yeah, we'd have still been there. So, like, I've had a weird, like, cop sixth sense for a long fucking time. And then, so that is that feeling, and, like, of, there's semi often of when that feeling happens of, like, something is actually wrong, of, like, maybe I got arrested and my brother called me, like, hey, something's wrong. What's going on? I'm like, oh, well, this just happened. I'm like, okay. Like, one of the worst feelings that I've had of that wasn't walking into that fucking store was, I think it was like a day and a half that I felt it, of, like, a really down, like, something is fucking so wrong, but you don't know what it is. And my whole family was okay. And I'm like, okay, well, who have I been spending time around? So I called my buddy Danny, my buddy Kareem, that I'd been spending a lot of time with, that I rode bikes with. I think Kareem had just gotten into a bike accident. Danny was in the back of an ambulance with somebody else. And, like, 2 or 3 different things had just happened, like, right when I thought of that person. So, like, the feeling was building up the whole fucking time. And then finally find out who it is. And then I'm like, okay. And then the feeling, like, kind of dissipates.
See, I had a moment where I was, I've told you about this one before. First of all, it was a Sunday. I was still in high school. Me and a friend of mine, we were in this plaza that we used to hang out at. There was a arcade there that was, generally we'd get in trouble there. I would get in trouble. But, so we were coming out of this grocery store, and I ran into people I knew. And he was behind me. He was back. I don't remember. I think he was buying something in the store. So I ran into people. He didn't know these people. I did. And they were like, yeah, we're going over to so-and-so's house. We're going to have a party. Do you want to go? And I had a bad feeling. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to go tonight. Maybe next time. My friend comes up. He's like, why didn't we go? I want to go. I want to meet these people. I want to get some cool friends. I'm like, well, you've already got me, so. But I just feel like it's going to be a bad night. Something's going to go wrong. Yeah. Somebody's getting in trouble. Something's going to happen. Now, I didn't foresee coming what actually did happen. And that's when somebody got shot. Somebody got shot in the head and killed at the party. One of the people I knew. Oh, wow. Yeah. So I felt pretty good that I decided. I mean, I felt bad about him. Yeah. I actually just thought about him recently because one of the songs came up on my phone. It was actually what's his favorite song. But, so I was glad I didn't go to that party. Because who knows? Maybe I could have been in that seat instead of him. Or, I mean, you change one variable and all sorts of things can go differently from what it actually happened, you know? Yeah, absolutely. In an alternate universe, there's a whole different story going on there. How much time we got left? But the other time we were in a park, we were drinking beer, and I was like, maybe we should go back further that way because it was darker there, and these police pulled into the parking lot. We were way back there. We had a keg in the park. Yeah, so the police, they're waving those lights towards us, and we were far enough back that we could just go. There was a creek behind us, so we went back into the trees and stuff in the creek. Is this Nebraska? Yeah. Okay. So not a lot of people call things creeks, but Midwest there's because it's literally called the Papio Creek. Yeah, no, but that's but a lot of people call them cricks, and that's what I was gonna get to. My grandma calls them cricks. Yeah, my brother does too, but it's a Midwest thing. But somehow I didn't do
out
it.
by the creek.
Somehow I didn't get it. But so I'm on crutches.
Well, you also don't have a massive Midwestern accent either.
Yeah, but even living there, I didn't call it that. But I was on crutches, and I'm trying to get back to this creek. And this other guy with me, this guy, he was big. He was a big guy. Him and I would see each other every so often and hang out sometimes. We were in but he was huge. And he at one point picks up this keg, throws it on his fucking shoulder.
A full keg?
It wasn't completely full, but it was still heavy.
Okay.
And we're running. He's got this keg on his shoulder, and he's looking over at me going, "Are you okay?" Because I'm on crutches. Like, you've got a keg on your shoulder.
Are you okay? Yeah.
So we made it back to the back of the area, and yeah, we ended up not. No police. They just basically scared us to the point. Not scared us, but got us.
Yeah.
So we didn't actually get tickets or anything like that. So
nice.
Yeah. That was an interesting night, though.
Yeah.
We still drink a lot of beer. I mean, we were back in the trees. But back to the paranormal thing. I've been watching, this last week, I'd been listening to a lot of different ones, a lot of different ghost stories and things like that. I have a book of ghost stories that I was listening to. I've been listening to that podcast. And then last night I watched a horror movie again. I watched The Nun 2.
I haven't seen any of them.
The Nun is really good. The Nun 2 is all right, but The Nun is a better movie. It falls into the same line of them as The Conjuring, which are also really good.
I don't know if I've seen those either.
This would be what like in the storyline, it'd go ahead of the Conjuring. The Conjuring, that would be Ed and Lorraine Warren. They're the most well-known demonologist in the U.S. and the Amityville Horror, they were involved in that.
I know that one.
But
I
also
I've seen it, but
I've also listened. Well, there's two versions of it, but I also listened to their demonology book. But Amityville Horror started with the people who lived there originally. This guy apparently he got convicted of the crime. He took a hunting rifle and went and killed his entire family.
Right.
With this rifle, shot them while they were in bed. And these people didn't move. Like if you're sleeping in your room and somebody goes into your roommate's room and shoots them with the rifle, you're going to fucking hear it. And you're not going to just lay there.
Maybe.
Well,
I sleep through a lot.
Yeah. Well, most people, you would think.
No, most people, yes.
You would think 6 people in a house, one of them might wake up to it.
Yeah.
So, he got convicted. He got 6 consecutive 25 to life sentences.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I was curious because the thing I was listening to was old, and they were like, he's still in prison today. So I looked it up, and he died in 2021 in prison.
Speaking of life sentences, a buddy of mine just told me somebody in Washington, Oregon, I don't remember, somewhere, just got like a 25 to life for growing 100 pounds of mushrooms.
What? 25 to life. Well, let me. I'd need to know a little more about this person's background.
Well, so
do they already have 2 strikes? Was that a 3rd strike? I mean, what's going on there?
They're not like Parabellos. They're not fucking like cooking mushrooms.
I know they're not
like,
portobello mushrooms.
They're psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah, I figured that, but
so just for everybody to like, from what I've read online.
Yeah.
If you were to buy an ounce of mushrooms, normally it's between $100 and $150. So for easy math, we'll figure $100.
Okay.
There's 16 ounces per pound.
Yeah.
100 pounds. That's 1,600 ounces. $100 each. That's $160,000.
Yeah.
Assuming they're like semi-low grade. If they were high grade, that's around $250,000 worth of fucking mushrooms. That's why I think they're looking at it like, and it's not Colorado.
Yeah.
But I think Colorado still has limits on like how much you can grow.
But I don't think it would be Oregon because they decriminalized drugs.
It might have been Washington then.
Yeah.
But like Oregon, I don't know. People do different things differently. I don't know.
But it just seems like a stiff sentence. Yeah. 25 to life seems.
Yeah. And that's fucking wild.
But But I remember years ago, I was watching a news story and they were talking about the war on drugs, and they talked about how one person had tried to sell many, many pounds of whatever drug it was, I don't recall, and what his sentence was. And then this other person, they're like, well, this person sold this many hits of acid, and it was a lot. And he's like, and they're like, well, they shouldn't have put him in for as long as he did because it only weighed this much. I'm like, yeah, but acid doesn't work in weight.
Yeah.
It's a drop on a piece of paper.
Well, so
he had many sheets of paper with many hits per sheet. And that's why he got as much as he did.
Yeah, and I mean, that's at that point too, like that's the weird part of like drugs and this and that is like if you have a pound of weed, let's say.
Well, it's also what class of drug it is.
Yeah, but like, so say you have a pound of weed.
Yeah.
And in most of the country, that's still a class 1 scheduled narcotic.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand, like a controlled substance kind of thing.
Yeah.
One, it's not controlled because clearly, but are we in the same country? So, say you have a pound of weed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You have a pound of weed. You can get arrested, and it's possession for a pound of weed. But if you have a scale,
yeah,
now it could be intent to distribute.
Yeah, and if you have little baggies, it could be also.
If you have a scale and bags, it's guaranteed to be intent to distribute. If you have a pound of weed already weighed out into eighths, like 3.5 grams a piece, it's for sure 100% gonna be intent to distribute.
But now let's say,
and then you get a fucking charge per fucking bag.
Oh, I know. But let's say for argument's sake, let's say I smoke, and I have prepackaged ones. Let's say I just I've done it with lunch where I've taken food and I've portioned it into different things to have for each day.
That's intent to distribute sandwiches, Mike. That's fucking illegal.
So now, who's to say that I didn't want to portion my weed into, because if I have it all in one, maybe I'm a smoker and I'll smoke it all.
Well,
and I won't control myself, so I only allow myself this much for one day, this much,
So if you have it, like, are you talking about like you already have it rolled into joints and they're
no,
in
I'm talking
different
like you have
containers?
Let's say you got a pipe and you want to smoke it out of the pipe, but you have 1/8 for however long you want it. You won't go past that. Once you're out,
that's for the lawyer to argue.
And what if you put, like labeled Monday, Tuesday?
I think that might actually fucking do something different.
Yeah.
Because like, look at Snoop Dogg. Snoop fucking smokes so much per day.
He has a professional blunt roller.
Yes. Like he fucking salaries this motherfucker.
Yeah. To just roll
blunts.
And that's all he does.
His fucking job.
He sits there and rolls blunt after blunt after blunt.
And
you do not want to be that guy on a day when Snoop runs out, because he's gonna fucking
bro. Like I just seen this video of this. Somebody was interviewing. It was another podcast. Somebody was interviewing Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
And they were like, have you smoked with Snoop Dogg? And they're like, yeah. And they're like you're friends with Snoop Dogg? They're like, yeah, of course. Like that's
of course.
That's why not? Of like, and they're talking about something else, and they're like, he brought up that he had a salaried fucking blunt roller, and then they were talking about like Cheech and Chong's like, how high have you ever been, and like how much Snoop smokes and this and that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that's so much fucking.
I heard something about it or saw something about it where right inside, right near like the front door of Snoop's house, there's like this dog dressed like a butler, holding like a plate type thing on it.
I've seen those fucking statues.
Yeah, but his has like joints on it, so you walk in and you just help yourself. You got a butler there to hand you a joint. That's
like, I admire how much he smokes.
Woody Harrelson used to smoke a lot too.
Because like, especially like, I used to smoke a lot in high school, and now like I've smoked a little bit here and there recently.
Yeah,
it fucks me up. Like the other day, I took 2 or 3 hits off a pipe, and I was fucked up for fucking probably 5 hours. Of like, I can't, like it's nice, but I don't like it anymore. I don't like the taste anymore.
Yeah,
I don't like. I don't need help not doing anything. I cannot do anything by
On your own.
myself.
I know. I heard you say
sober.
that this week. I knew exactly what you were talking about when I heard you say that.
I cannot do anything by myself sober. 100% sober. I cannot do shit on my couch for fucking 12 hours. I don't need fucking help with that. What I need help with is like a limitless pill.
Yeah, that's what I need.
How do I get shit done?
Yeah, if somebody's got the limitless pill out there, send us a couple bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ship them out to us. Big bottles.
We're at an hour.
Well, we do
Mike,
want to do that.
Yeah, let's do this before we fucking finish. So Mike brought some pumpkin pie jelly bellies.
And the thing is jelly bellies usually taste like what they say they are. Like, I don't know if you've had buttered popcorn jelly belly, but it tastes like buttered popcorn.
No, not really. So I took a couple, but I'm already eating it.
Yeah, I see that. I was still pouring it in my hand. Sorry about the crinkling.
Yeah, I cut it so that we didn't have to like fight it, but there's still a little bit of crinkle.
All right.
I taste the crust and a little bit of whipped cream, a little bit of pumpkin. That's actually fairly close to pumpkin pie. I'm pretty impressed.
I get some pumpkin flavor out of that.
That's actually pretty decent. Not bad.
I'm glad because I actually bought 2 bags of it.
Yeah.
They're only $1 a bag, though.
That's not bad. Somebody always told me about the, like when Harry Potter first came out, that they had like the mystery bag. Like some of it was dirt and some of it was fucking like random flavors like
Bamboozled.
lizard heads or some shit.
One's like tastes like puke, one's snot, one's like sour milk. And you spin the wheel, whichever one it lands on, that's the one you eat. Either you get a good one or you get a bad one. And it's bean boozled. We actually sold a box of it at Bubba Gump when I worked there.
I wouldn't mind trying those because I know what most of those taste like.
See, I'm good. I don't need to taste rotten milk to know what it tastes like. We can do that on here, and you can do it, and I'll spin the wheel, and you eat them.
I mean, I can get a half gallon of milk too, and we just fucking.
Yeah, but that's only one of the flavors.
No, yeah, but we'll try a shot of spoiled milk and then the jelly belly. See what it tastes like. If it's the same.
Compare it.
Yep. So I don't know. Everybody that's watching, I don't know if you understand that I don't really care what I eat, and I'm built different than most people. So like nothing fucking bothers me.
That's why I said I'll spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and eat it. Because I am not that guy.
Yeah. So like food poisoning I've had maybe once, and it was in Phoenix at a Dave & Buster's, and the best friend from high school, when he found out that I had food poisoning, he was like, I don't care how good the food was that we had there. I will never go back there. I don't want to know what they did. If it made you sick, I don't want anything to fucking do with it.
I've never actually eaten at a Dave & Buster's. They had one in Vegas, and there's another situation where I've been to it for an interview. They had bad decision-making skills.
Because they didn't hire you?
Yeah. It's funny because I had an interview there and at a Mexican restaurant in consecutive days. When I had my Dave & Buster's one, I was walking out and I was hungry. I was really hungry, and I'm like, where am I going to eat? So I look at the map of the mall, going, all right, what am I going to eat that's on the way to my car?
Yeah.
Blue Ribbon Chicken was on the way to my car. And oh my God, it was the best fried chicken I've ever had.
I don't think I've ever had that.
And they had craft soda on fountain that's actually really good. I mean, I loved it. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to just sit there and drink black cherry soda all day. But then the next day I had the interview. I'm like, well, at least if I don't get the job, I'm having chicken again today. So I had the interview, had the chicken again. Still didn't get it. Another time, didn't get the job.
Damn.
Then I had an interview near there again, another day. And this time I'm like, I'm going to break the cycle. I'm still going to eat chicken. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't going to not have chicken. But instead, this time I had the chicken before the interview.
And then you got the job.
I got the job.
Oh, see?
Must have put me in a good mood because chicken is so fucking good.
You learned.
And I love fried chicken. That place was high tech. Like even like at that time, there was only 2 locations for this place. One was in Times Square. One was in Summerlin.
Oh.
But like you'd go to throw stuff in the garbage can. You go to put your tray there to throw your garbage into it. The door would open on its own.
That happens at Chick-fil-A.
But
Act like that's special.
I'm not done yet. After you dump it in there, you set the tray on top. The door closes. Trash compactor. Yeah, they don't do that shit at Chick-fil-A. They just have an open door and a lot of hate. That's all they have there.
Bam. So, I think we should once we got a lot of more people like watching, commenting, like following kind of shit.
Yeah.
We should have an episode where I eat like ridiculous shit.
Oh yeah,
I think that would drive.
I've thought of that too. I've said that. I said something like that when I told you about the guy who ate those.
Yeah, and I might have said it then. Like I originally wanted to start like a YouTube channel. That would be a great fucking. We'll have Russell on soon,
yeah.
And then I still have a lot of fucking videos of when me and Russell were originally going to start. Like we had painted a room in the house that we lived in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like one wall blue, one wall orange, and one wall I don't remember. But we started recording videos of trying to do like a mimic the Philip DeFranco show of like a reaction, like bring up different shit. And Jesus Christ, the difference between then and now of me just like interacting, talking is fucking enormous.
Well, one thing we'll have to we can say like right now, hey Brandon, why don't you comment on what you like to see Jeremy eat?
Yeah.
And then other people could comment what they want to see you eat, and then we could do a live episode again.
No, exactly.
And you eat it all on there, and we can have it on YouTube, Twitter, everything. But
that's one of the first YouTube videos that I wanted to start the YouTube channels is of me eating something of like what people say. It's like, bro, like it's been weird shit that I've eaten.
Well, let me just preface this with don't be saying eat poison because that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so
it has to be something
I guess
can eat.
A couple ground rules, like nothing like strictly poisonous, nothing strictly venomous. Not like eat a brick. Like
it has to be something edible.
Something that was at one point edible.
But don't be calling it saying drink a vial of mercury.
Yeah, like have decency.
Yeah.
Something that fucking most people wouldn't eat or drink. Like I've had balut. I don't know if you've had that. It's the fermented fucking duck egg. That's Filipino food. It's a fermented duck egg that's like almost hatched. It's like you crunch the bones kind of.
I might try that. Those are.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard it. That's
I said might.
Nope. You'll try it.
But there's I've seen it on American Dad where they had a bird where they cook it, they drown it in like cognac or something, they cook it and you eat the whole thing. And the thing is, before you eat it, you cover your face with a napkin to hide yourself from God when you're eating this whole bird.
I don't think that's a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. Oh, it is. It's real.
You're supposed to hide yourself from God before you eat a whole bird.
It's like a little baby bird. It's something they would do when they would eat it. I'm telling you, I don't make this shit up.
I'm not convinced.
Yeah, well, I've seen things about it. I saw about it on there, and I've also seen things about it in other places.
Okay. Well, so coming soon, video clips, because I'm about to start all that because I just got the coupon codes probably in the email during this episode.
I've thought about eating the whole octopus, but those worry me because they try to climb out and they can choke you to death. I'm
going to drag Mike onto the elevator game. We're going to go to Virginia City, and I'm going to steal a fucking EMF reader for $5. Well, technically, it's not stealing because I paid $5 for it. So
you rent it for $5?
Nope. They didn't say how long. I'll give it back in.
We have to go to Mackey Mansion too.
I'll give it back in 10 years for $5.
They take your license as a.
Joke's on them. I've got fucking 7.
Perfect.
Allegedly. It's illegal to have more than one. Did you know that?
I heard that. So I don't have 4 or 5 of them sitting at home.
Yeah, I definitely only have one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Yep.
Which is a great fucking movie by Gerard Butler.
I've heard.
You haven't seen it? He's drinking Dr. Pepper.
No, I've not heard it. I've seen it.
You have to fucking see that movie.
I'll see it sometime. But I got a whole list of shit I got to watch. And you saw me watch a TV show, Raising Hope.
Yeah. And?
Well, I told you when we first started recording this, you need to watch that. It's on Hulu.
I've almost finished Ahsoka. I have, I think, 1 episode left.
Yeah, that's not Raising Hope.
No, but it's better
Raising
because
Hope
it's Star
is
Wars.
It's funny as fuck.
It's sunny.
It's sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And funny as fuck.
All right.
But we had to wrap up.
Yep.
Please watch, follow,
share, subscribe. Facebook and Instagram at Some
Comment.
Offense Intended. X, Some Offense Pod. YouTube, just search Some Offense Intended. And we have merch.
buy it.
We're not wearing. He took his hoodie off earlier. That was
Yeah, it gets warm in here.
Yeah, it does. The TV fucking heats it up. Buy shit. Subscribe. Share shit. Thanks. Goodbye.